Okay. Simin Samachalach. I'm continuing where he left off. He
Right.
told me where he left, that he left off in Simin Samach.
Please recht sein.
Reish Tazayin, exactly. Din kama tzarech ledaktik al chavim akriyash ma'abei chafei sifim. Talking about having kavana and how you're supposed to be medayik and what you're saying.
The word should be properly.
Yeah. Okay, page Reish Tazayin. לכתחילה צריך להיזהר ולקריס כל הגימל פרשת של קריאה שמע כוונה באימה וביראה ברסס ובזהר. לכתחילה, we need to have kavana when we read Kriya Shema, all the three parashas. And he says, the Lashon, which it says by Har Sinai, should do it with Eima, Yira, Beresa, V'zayah. And he says, K'derech shebnei haMedina kedim Pratgama shemeshagalam hamelech. What is a Pratgama? He teaches, Hainu, Ksav hamelech, Al, or they say, they bring from the Rebbe, says, El b'nei Medinose, Shem imdim sh'arak leim v'kedim esam v'ima v'yida b'reses v'ziyah. Yeah, that's why we also got to do it with ima v'yida b'reses v'ziyah. Right, just like a king sends a new sends something something he wrote up in a command and sent to the people, so they all stand up and they read it with fear. Or Kriyashmai Pekama Shalak Baruch Lam Yisrael. Well, Yitriach Alina Kos Baruch Lekreis Muhammad. Awlach Kabaderech. Sarech Hakopanin in the Kreis of the So he says you need to. Hashem wasn't matriach us to have to stand up
Like the melech.
like the Melech. He says Awlach Kabaderech, but at least
Imovi.
the Ein of the Yira. Shkayach. Days. Ki Yeshma Yesh Reish Mem He Tevis. Chasru Gimel Tevis Lashem Reish Mem Ches. Connect the Varav Shalom. Beautiful. Listen to this. Shekalakere Ki Yeshma.
Is it based?
Oh, I skipped. I'm sorry. I'm so excited about Gimel. I skipped a bit. Tzarech Shetiya Be'einav Kiprut Gama Chadasha. It has to be like a new one, a new decree. Shalom Elam. Yeah. Ki Chadashim. Zosh Amra Kasu Vashanich Mitzav Chayim. Hayim claim b'chol yoyim yibenecha kachadashim like today. V'leikim ish shekvar shama davar echod harbe palmim sheshuv inichava vesik about tchila. We knew, like the Rebbe would say, I think it says in another place, it says chadashim. It says kachadashim, it says kachadashim. This is chadashim man. Oh,
The Kevin Sachat is in the book, but this is an Rabbi. That's the hardest I've avoided.
that is the routine. Yeah,
It's medium, but nevertheless,
it's
every day we are success.
meeting. You have suffering. Yeah. Fine. Gimel.
No.
Kriya Shema Yidish Meishim is to this the Reish Mem Hey Tevis, the Chasr Gimel Tevis, Hashan Reish Mem Ches. What's Reish Mem Ches? Connect the Ivar of Shaladam. The Ivar of the person is 248. Says very interesting thing. Shekal Akeda Kriya Shema Kitikuna Kol Ever Natal Teva Achas Umasrapaba. When you hear this, when you read Kriya Shema, there's 245 words. When we're going to add another 3, so 248. How many limbs, how many Ivarim does the person have? 248.
Ramach.
Samach Ivarim. So each Aver takes refuah from each Teva.
Wow.
Every Teva is for another Aver.
That's three tables that Merapit is.
Wache Negim, therefore, doesn't want to have Reish Mem Ches. And Minigish Hashatz, the Chsiv L'Chazn, Teizu Eimer Hashem Alekechem Emes, exactly the Kedam. He says, Hashem Alekechem Emes, out loud, Bezek, Kol Adam, Yetze, Hoyel, V'Shemi, Piv, Shalshat, Gimel Tev, Seder, Yetze, from the Chazn, these three,
What we also said, well, that's quiet. Not only the
but we don't repeat it.
We do. When
When we listen, when we're during the Tzibur, we don't repeat it. Ah, so we learned something. And at Tzibur, we don't repeat it. Only reason why, because we're Yetze from the Chazn. We're Yetze for the Chazn.
But nevertheless, even in Mitzvah, people are repeating it. Why?
We're going to see in Dalit that we're reading it by yourself. Oh,
No, but if you don't read the minion, everybody reading.
if you're saying Kriya Shema when the Chazn is saying Kriya Shema,
Yeah, that's it.
Reish Tazayin, Three things
Oh,
in
so
tzibur.
either you before him or after him?
Oh, so if you're maybe in Pesukah Zimra, so then you're right, and you have to say yourself.
Uh-huh.
But if you're saying Krias Shema with him, and it says, he says you'll see in the bottom, so Katan Yebez, the Siyam Yebez, so it brings over there, "V'haina afilu elu shadayin lisima Krias Shema." It brings from the letter of the Rebbe. Even
Uh-huh.
if you didn't finish Krias Shema, you're reading Krias Shema, you didn't finish it. Sometimes the Chazan's ahead of you.
So you said,
You know you're also Yetzer in the Chazan.
ah,
So it says from in a different place, it's brought that if you when you hear the Chazan saying, "Let's hear middle Krias Shema," right? Let's hear
and
middle.
after you do it before him, finish your from a mess, and
Okay,
he
so
still
have in
there.
mind not to be Yetzer because you just need 248. That's all you need. You need more than that because 245. So you're Yetzer the next three from him.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and so let's say you're middle of Hayim Shemaya, right? And you hear the Chazan say, and you hear the Chazan starting to say Hashem Lekech Hanamas. So you stop, you listen to him, and then you continue. So you're Yetzer those three words from him. Yeah, makes sense. Obviously, son. Yeah.
Makes sense,
Okay,
100%.
100%. Shalom Aleichem. How are you?
See ya.
Good
Yeah,
brother.
I see your son all the time. And Anshe Lubavitch.
Let's read down.
Yeah. Hashem Mispal. Yeah. So he says like this.
Every Jew is Chashon.
100%. Especially his son. Especially
Some people are
young.
more Chashon than others.
Kol Hatzibur Kshakeidan La'atzim Malachash Eimani Hashem Lekech Hanamas. So the tzibur, the people are listening with the saying Kriya Shema, they're saying to themselves quietly, Ani Hashem Lekech Hanamas. They finish off saying, Mamtinan Allah Shatz, and they wait for the Chazan. And then he says, repeats these three words, Achekach Maskilim V'Yatziv, and then they say V'Yatziv. Because really, Pasuk says Ani Hashem Lekechem. Pasuk doesn't say Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes. The bracha afterwards is Emes V'Yatziv. Really, the beginning of the next pasuk.
Like,
So you could think that okay, you heard from the Chazan saying Hashem Lekechem Emes. So now I'm starting the next thing. Let me say again Emes V'Yatziv. The problem is you're saying Emes twice,
that's the word.
right? Because you already said to yourself Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes, and now you're going to start saying Emes V'Yatziv, repeating the word Emes. Don't repeat the word Emes. Shekala imer emes emes lehefsek teva acheres v'nisayim ki lo imer shma shma shemashlikim leisayim leishar klab and saying which is bar. Like we're going to say in Sif Ches, we're going to say you're not supposed to say when you're saying Shema Yisrael, don't say Shema Shema. Same thing is also because like you're saying there's two Rishuyos. Same thing you're also going to get emes. Don't say there's two emes. It's one emes. So you shouldn't say emes emes after you say Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes. Don't say Emes V'Yatziv again. And he says, even though you're maybe waiting a little bit, right? Because you're waiting for the Chazan to say Nation Emes, so you made a little break in between. Still, in Lichbel Chatchilabli Hafsik Teva Chazan saying you still should not repeat the word Emes unless you have another word in between. Oh, this is what you were saying. In Isser B'Davar, Masha Mafsik bin Emes Emes, Tevis Hashem Lekechem Emes. The Yachid wants to say together with the Chazan, when the Chazan say Hashem Lekechem Emes, right? You were saying that you see people do that.
You ever see a Sfaradi shul?
Yeah,
They all davening loud,
yeah,
then they sit together with the chazan.
yeah. So they do Hashem Lekechem Emes.
Yeah.
What's Emet?
Cool.
So why you cannot say twice Hashem is Emet?
Because you're saying Emes Emes. Maybe you're saying there's two Emeses.
You're stuttering.
Yeah.
Like to Hashem.
Oh, you need Ramach, Tibot.
So it has to be exactly the
Don't make
same.
Reish Mem Tet. Make Reish Mem Chet.
Oh, but this is also because he says this is like Shema, saying Shema Shema twice. So just like you're going to say that you're not supposed to say Shema twice, because like you're saying there's two Rishuyos.
So how come in the song Shema Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu? You said double Shema. Shema Shema
It's a song,
Yisrael.
davening.
Huh?
Davening. It's davening in a song. It's a different thing.
It's different.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't, and maybe that song is different. But again, it's also it's specifically when you're doing them, you're reading Kriya Shema for the mitzvah. So Yeah. So, but you say Hashem Lekechem Emes. Those who want us who say it together with the Chazan Hashem Lekechem Emes. So then they could say the word emes again. They're saying Hashem Lekechem Emes, even though they said Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes themselves. Then the Chazan says Hashem Lekechem Emes, and they decided they want to say it together with him. They could say it, even though they're saying the word emes again, because they made a hefsek of Hashem Lekechem in between the word emes. So that's okay. Vashat Shnegim Shalem and Emes Kishkeda Balachash Atzmev. Shivim Balachash Emes Chizrim and Emes Karam Yadish Mem Tes Tavis. I don't fully understand this because it says the Chazan. He says. Some people have the meaning that yeah,
that's what she does.
right. But that's not our meaning.
No.
Our meaning is that we say
and then loud.
exactly, yeah. Right. So the Ishnegim Leiman Emes Gam Balachash Shalil Hafid Bein Hashem Lekechem Emes. This is our minig that to say he says that emes also.
So the second emes is for emes v'yotzi.
Oh, not to make a hefsek. Right. Emes hasheni shall have because you want to make Hashem lekechem together. You want to put it together with emes the first time when you're saying balachash, and also emes hasheni inim in aminin al nusach brichas emes v'yatzivu. The second emes is not. It's not. I'm going to say it's reishmem test. It's an extra one. You're saying extra emes. That's the word. That's really not part of the Kriyas, it's part of the next thing I'm saying. Fine, Dalit. Keda Kriyas B'tzibur. Let's say you're not davening with the minyan. So the first he says, I love Nema, the Pasuk says about him, that he suddenly yuchli manis. Pasuk Kehala, so he says these are chisad, this is a chisadim which you can't sort of like fix. So the Medrash says that what's something you can't make up is these three words. Yeah, because you can't make it up if you're doing it by yourself. That's what you want. That's what this mahalach is. The first shit.
So they're pushing people to daven in Tzibur.
Mm-hmm. The playal, we say it depends who. We're going to see different minhagim, but our minig is. Like you see in Chaf Aleph in the bottom, we see in Chaf Aleph, it brings that Yachid Amaspal Atzmi Yachid Tevis Ani Hashem Lekechem. We do say over the words Ani Hashem Lekechem when we're davening by ourselves. We say Ani Hashem Lekechem. Right? Not Hashem Lekechem is like the Chazan who says over Hashem Lekechem. We say Ani Hashem Lekechem, Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes. And also he said, look in Igeris HaKadosh. Igris Kodesh, but the Rebbe has a letter. Has a letter. The Rebbe says like this. I looked this up. It says that when you're saying in the morning Krias Shema, let's say you want to make sure that you say Krias Shema for the Zman, right? So then you do repeat it. You do repeat and you say repeat Ani Hashem Lekechem, because that's when you're saying Krias Shema. That's real Krias Shema.
Right.
Then
when you do davening,
when you do Krias Shema
in davening later on,
you also do it. In Krias Shema and davening, you also repeat it. Yeah.
The only time we don't say it is by Rabbeinu Tam.
Oh, Rabbeinu Tam, it's only Rabbeinu Tam, and we don't repeat it. I didn't look up why. It is possible because then it's not so much about Krias Shema, it's more about the tefillin. You should say Krias Shema for the tefillin. But need to look that up. Like in Krias Shema Shalomita,
We already did Ramach.
you read it earlier. You already said it. You already got it.
We don't need the extra thing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Good answer. And then we have the Krias Shema Shalomita. I think also you just say emes. Could be making a mistake. I saw the letter. He says they're trying to medayik.
Just for Shalomita, you do say.
You do say?
Yeah.
Where's the Nusigulim?
Yeah.
I just looked up the letter. No, these are not the. I looked up the letter. The letter was saying. No, I need to listen to the letter. It's in Hayom. Well, here. The letter says that because someone was thinking to medayik to say without emes, because the Alter Rebbe writes in the Siddur he says that you say from Shema until the end of the three parashas. It doesn't say that until emes. So
Dus we worden met daar to pick out the wood. En Hashem Elokechem.
Ani Hashem, like yeah. So you said no. The Rebbe says not a deal. Just trying to say you should say all the three parashas, but you do say the word emes afterwards. Now, do you? Yeah, you're right. It does say that you do repeat the three words. And I actually looked up this Igris. I guess I'm saying I just probably just forgot it just now. But yeah, but he does say that you do say Nir Shalom Keichem Emes. It says he said it twice. So you're right. Yeah, so you do say Nir Shalom Keichem Emes.
What a woman do? Doesn't have Ramah Harem. She has less, I think.
It's a great question. I love that question. Reish Nun Beis, she actually has more. Reish Nun Beis.
They put it from Tefillah.
So she can say.
No, women put it from Tefillah.
Women actually have Emes Chayiv in Tefillah.
The old Tefillah, bro, Chana.
Because Tefillah doesn't matter how his man.
שפתיה נאות וקולה לא יישמע.
But they do repeat.
Yeah.
No, they do repeat. The question is, you're saying they have a relation on days. Saying where do they get the chayas from for their extra bottom, right? It's a good question.
They all the mitzvot they do, they get the chayv.
לא בסנרס.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's a different halach. Hi,
Shalom Aleichem.
alaikum shalom.
Hey, Jim. How are you? Baruch Hashem. I see you're replacing your dad. That's good.
My brother.
Oh, you're the brother. Okay. Because I see the last name learner on the screen. Okay.
Yeah, close enough.
You look like him. You sound like him.
That,
Okay.
oh,
That makes sense.
embarrassing.
No problem. How
Okay,
are you, sister?
welcome.
Hello, sister.
Okay, so he
Thank
says we're talking about Krias Shema over here. So we're saying that what if someone is not davening with the tzibur, or not davening with the minyan? What do they do? What do they do with the extra three words they're supposed to add to Ani Hashem Elokeichem? So he says he still has so there is, if you say the emes v'yatziv v'nachim, emes v'yatziv v'nachim Makayim, right? There's 15. Well, it's 15. 15 vowels. V'yatziv v'nachim Makayim v'yashav v'nel ol v'chuvicha v'vidnachim v'vidnayim v'neidu v'yadir v'masukun v'mukubel v'tei v'yafa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 15 vavs, and so Yishem Farshim Kavana Zu Shetetz Vavin Elot Tzadik. So you have 15 vavins. 15 times 6, a vav is 6,
Right.
is 90. So the Hein Keneged Gimel Shemus Havaya. So you have 3 names of Havaya. Havaya is what? Shehei Shkolachad Elach Havav, right? The Dal AC is in Lametz. Each is 4, right? It's 30. So each one's 30. 30 times 3 is 90. So it's just three words. You need another 3 words. These are 3 words. The Yesh, Farshim, Shetazvav Vavin, Elim, Tzadik. Im Hakriya Hari Tzadik Aleph. K'minin Hashem Kriyasik Savasik Kil Omer Hashem Havaya Adnai Emes. So together with the Kriya, he says is the reading of what you're reading is as one. What that means basically adds another 1, so 91. And how these things, you add something here, add something there. So it comes out to Havaya Adnai because right, Havaya is 26. It's 26. Adnai is you have Ad Nun Yud is 60. Aleph it's 65. 65 plus 26 is 91. And how did because that's the way Havaya is Yud Kei Vav Kei is Sivase, the way you write Hashem's name. Kiyasi is Adnai. And MS, I don't know how do you get the MS word? I don't know, but he says that adds up to 3 words. So the first takana is you have kavana. and to these gematrias. So another takana is Lakeda b'yachid. You should say she'ayim. I think the Welt says this, right? What do they do? Say Kale Melech Nemon right before Shema. That's what the Welt does. The Go Minyan, they say Kale Melech Nem, right? I think that's what they printed in their Siddurim, or the Tisha Siddurim.
Why did they say that?
Oh, to add the three words. If the Go Minyan, usually hear from the Chaz and Hashem Lekechem Emes, you don't hearing it, so you need the three words to add that is equal to 248.
They never done.
You're a pharmacist, you should prescribe this for yeah, he's a prescribers in pharmacy. Tell them you missed this part, but it says that there's 245 plus the three Hashem Kechamemes. Every Aver takes one letter to be healed with. So next time someone comes to your pharmacy saying, you say Krias Shema, you have to for each you say properly every letter, and then that's the best ocean of it. That's it. So some another eight takanas you say Kil Melech Namo right before you say Shema. The Gimel Tevis Elo Mashlim Minir Amach. They added up to Behim B'Makim Amen. That's instead of the Amen Sheishlanis Achra Bechalam Yisrael B'Yava. Right? If the Chazan was saying Abechalam Yisrael B'Yava, you would say Amen. The Amen Rashatevis Kil Melech Naman. Amen is Rashatevis Kil Melech Naman. The trustworthy our King and God. But when you're by the tzibur, so then you answer after the chazan says you answer Amen. Don't say Kemalach Nama. But when you're by yourself, you say Kemalach Nama.
But our minhag is not the same.
Oh, and our minhag is not to say Amen because also our minhag is that the chazan says Balachash. He said Becham Yisrael, and he doesn't say Allah Ba'ava. So maybe
you didn't hear the whole bracha. You don't say Amen.
So maybe that's why we also don't.
I think only Chabad.
Yeah, maybe that's why we don't say Kemalach Nama.
They don't say Amen and Shema. They all say together with them.
But it's the opposite. They say it quietly when they say Gal Yisrael. By Gal Yisrael, the Welt says it quietly. Baruch Atah, right? They're quiet. We say it out loud. Gal Yisrael.
Well, we don't say Amen.
No, because you're together with him, and you're not supposed to make a hepsik.
Right.
So we're the opposite. We always do the opposite, or they do the opposite. So, hey, Neigim the case for pasuk Rishon Karam. So Lamaisa, we said that what do we do when what's our minig Lamaisa? We say Ani Hashem Lekechem. When we're by ourselves, we say Ani Hashem Lekechem, and that's what we do. And then we do it again, Hashem Lekechem. Ani Hashem Lekechem. Right, and then we say Hashem Lekechem Emes.
Sfard didn't answer when Chazan said Hashem Elekochem. They said Emet, and then said
the
Emet.
Chazan say Hashem Emet.
And then they repeat Emet V'Yatziv, and they say Emet V'Yatziv.
Yeah, they say Emet ve'atziv together.
Okay, that's fine. Say Emet V'Yatziv, that makes sense, yeah. What is so yeah, so we Lamaisa, when we're by ourselves, we say Ani Hashem Lekechem. And we say, Ani Hashem Lekechem Emes. So that's the statement in Huggins. It's fine. Night, weiter. Hey, Neigam Dikis Pasuk Rishim, Bekil Rom, Kilei Rakavano. The minig is to read the first pasuk with a loud voice in order to arouse our concentration. Kil Mei Rakavano, we say something out loud. And Neigam Nitin Yedeyam Apaneim Akis Pasuk Rishim, they shall istakro Davaracha Sheminim Lachad. And the minig is to put our hands on our face when we read the first pasuk of Shema, in order that we should not be distracted by looking at something else, which
Why is some Sfarim go like this with the hand? Oh, the
should
different.
have been. Yeah.
Dalet.
Like a Dalet.
Dalet, yeah.
Dal, what do you mean?
Shem Hashem.
How do they do it?
They put this finger like this. 3.
Three. This is a dalet.
1.
This is a shin, right? Looks like a shin.
Shin.
Ah, they go like this?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I have a question in what he's saying here.
What?
Noagim liten yedahem al penahem.
Yeah.
Noagim liten yedahem, their hands.
Yeah.
And then later on it says, Shelo istakel.
Yeah.
Istakel is,
The gaze.
no, istakel is 1. Istaklu. He said,
Oh.
Noagim liten yedahem. It's plural.
I like that.
Istakel
That's
is
special.
1.
You don't do.
Why you don't say istaklu?
You don't put 2 hands.
He's asking a good question. The starts of Lashon Rabim and then finishes Lashon Yachid.
Yado. Why yedahem?
So he starts Lashon Rabim.
Also misspelled.
So
Right,
why
so
istakel is 1?
Yeah.
Istaklu.
Each one is.
Each one is for 1, but for everybody it's yedahem. If you go,
Hey,
you
let's
go
take
straight.
this prosecution cut down for the later. Come on, I'm a negim litin yedayim al
I don't think the
pneim.
dikduk is good. I mean,
It is good. Everything's perfect. We have to understand. Let's see. Negim nikis prosecution cut down for the later. Come on, negim.
yeah. Minhag is liten yedehem, to put their hand. We don't put our hand. To put our one hand. Yedehem, it's pure.
Right,
Fluent.
yeah.
And let him out.
Not only the chazan, everybody. Usually the chazan is read for everybody. So he said, not everybody put the hand, not only the chazan.
Why you say istakel? Istaklu.
Probably means each person.
One, each person. So it's not look.
Right, it's probably each person. In other words, the
In order to
minig,
mechaven, you have to close your eyes.
the minig he wants to say lashon abim because he wants to say this is the minig what everyone does. He wants to say lashon abim, right? He wants to say the reason for it is so then he's saying in order that each person, I hear, right? It's a good question. It could be each person should say they bring in the bottom also from the Geras Hakedesh in which one it's in Lamed. It says the Geras Hakedesh. It says Benayim Skuras. He's talking about a side point over there. He's saying that how could it be that you open up your eyes and it's not there anymore? What you just thought about. You're like you're ready. Everything's gone. You're ready back to the world. But over there he says Anayim Skuras. So Anayim Skuras seems like you close your eyes also.
Not only you put your hand, you also
Yeah.
you put hand not to be mechaven. When you go like this, mechaven.
Yeah.
When you want to think something, you go like this. You put your hand like this.
Yeah.
Why do you don't say you close your eyes? Close your eyes. You have no kavana. You're not thinking. Put your hand. You more kavana?
Not to look.
If I want to do something, close my eyes, I concentrate.
No,
Make
but when you
kavana.
put your hand like this, you concentrate more. When you have something, big to think, you put it your hand. That's the nature of our body.
A good question. I hear. I don't know. It's a good question. Somebody's ma'irich in the dalid of echad. No, it doesn't mean it. One second. Then he's going to have a ma'irich his days and years. You shouldn't cap up quickly the ches. You should be ma'irich in it a little bit. In order to make the Eibush the Melech in the Shemayim and the Aretz. What does that have to do with the Ches? Shezayin Nikiyim va'aretz kimini Ches. This Ches is 7 and 1. 7 Nikiyim and the 1 Aretz. The Eibush making the Eibush a Melech over the Shemayim va'aretz. Well, that is very interesting in a Ches in the Torah. You see, well, that Remez HaChateteres Shebe'emsa Agag Shel Ches. And Ches, it's like a vav and a zayin, according to the Rebbe, a vav and a zayin, yeah,
And a covenant.
and then on top it goes like that. Why does it go up? It says that the Eibushter lives in the height of the world.
Rabbi, everybody said echad, but always in any shul they have one say very, very long and it disturbs the other.
Oh, listen for 1 second. Let's see what he says over here. What he means. It doesn't mean that you say it. It means in your mind. Listen. But B'dal is B'dal you have to do it longer. They share the amount of time. So you think Shakash Baruch Hu Yachabi Lami that the Eibush is one in his world. B'dal is how are you, David? I can't hear you. You're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted. Okay.
He doesn't hear it anyway.
I just attended a book review of an incredible book of a man who saved several 100,000 Hungarian Jews during the Shoah.
Beautiful. So
He's in Florida.
yeah, I know in Florida. Okay, thank you for sharing. So we're talking about when you're saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. What you're thinking when you're saying the Dalet is like this. That Hashem is one in this world, and He rules over the 4 sides of the world, four directions. And then he says, you do not need to be mairich more than this amount. And so what does he say? What does he say? He's going to say in the next one, Zion, explain a little more what he means, what you were asking. But it doesn't mean saying with your mouth, it means in your thought. He says that 1 second. We're going to get to it in doubt. And he says, some people, which actually the Rebbe used to do this, that he would pick up his head when he's thinking that the Abish is a melech, go up, down, right, front, back, right? So he would move his head, not major, not like moving it like a little bit, like very, very gently, a little bit up and down, around, to show that Hashem is the melech in all the directions. Zion. You have to, when you say echod, obviously you have to make sure you're saying echod, not acher, right? Doesn't mean when you say the dalit that you're going to say d. There's no dagish. First of all, no, it doesn't say in the letter that you're supposed to emphasize that letter. You should say it clearly. This is what you were saying. Those who say the dalit long, they say echad. That's not right. This is what we say is supposed to be mairich with the dalit. With reading the dalit. If he doesn't know nekuda the letter at the end of the word, right? Then you don't say the word. You just echad, nothing more. You don't say there's no shva over there. You don't say echad. That's wrong.
What happens when I know somebody does that?
Doesn't say you have to be meicher. Doesn't say it.
But sometimes
if he asks you if he should do it, so you can tell him, let's look in Shulchan. What did he say?
He said that his Lord says that he should do.
Okay, so maybe there's other minhagim. Yarach machshavti means in your mind you should think long. Lahamlich b'dal ruches to think about the Eibush the melech over all the four directions. Krias hadal when you're reading the dalit.
It's not.
But Hanum she asked Baruch Shem. Well,
I said some people said love.
So which means after the dal, you're finishing your echad and then you're thinking about it.
They make arichut by the
ches. So the ches we said you could the ches, all it says by the ches is you shouldn't chaf it up. And you should think about how the Eibush is the melech over the Shemayim and others. Now obviously Chassidim, when they say echad, they think about what it says in Tanya, think a little bit more about how Hashem is not just the only Eibush there, also Hashem is the Einei Movadei. Hashem is the only Metzias.
You don't need the whole tefillah to make kavanah, only in Shema.
Oh, the whole Krias Shema, the Chassidus explains, is to build up to come to Krias Shema. Krias Shema is when you're reaching the top. The whole Pesukei de Zimra gets us into the mood.
And after Kriyat Shema?
Oh, then we're batal. With Shema, and in Shema Nesrei, we're like Eved before our master. We don't say anything quiet, we stand still like Eved. Then we're batal. Bittul.
How come Sfaradim say the whole tefillah loud?
Shema Nesrei also?
No, the whole tefillah.
Yes, you look worse.
Kill Me'era Kavana. He said, kill rouses the Kavana. If you go to Stolin in Borough Park, you hear from 3 blocks away, you hear them screaming.
It's a different minhag. They have different minhag.
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem.
What?
No, they're all speaking.
Yeah, so there they all do it together.
Nobody here.
This is what they do.
Only Hashem here.
Yeah. Generally, it's not in Chabad. It's not like you're saying. It's not an idea to try to get to stir people and to get too much attention. That's the opposite of the whole idea of davening.
When you get going from a fire, right? You don't look at it and oh wow, you still hot. When they daven, they get like fire blood. They're still, and everybody hear them.
No,
Yeah.
the more that they're yelling, I experienced this. I went to Simcha. The guy who was yelling the most, and happened to sit next to me, he's going like this.
So this is their minhag, they because they're right into Kol Me'era Kavana. But Lamaisa, we could say that we could hear a little bit. It helps a little bit, but
Chana said Rak Sfatei Nahot.
That's Shema Nesrei. That's why Shema Nesrei. We don't say
She
it.
didn't want people to listen collision.
But the question is, when they scream loud with kavana, also the shaking with kavana.
Right.
So they give you more kavana. Please check.
That's their derech. It's not our derech. It's not the Chabad.
No, but what's
Yeah.
their
Yeah, that it says
Your whole
Like
your
a
whole
fire.
it
body.
says no.
Fire.
That in
Fire.
Shulchan Aruch,
Jumping.
Shulchan Aruch talks about shaking also.
Fire.
It doesn't
Jumping.
do derechim. It says in
Yeah,
Shulchan
yeah.
Aruch. Because one way is to shake, one way
Like
is
a
to
candle.
yeah,
Always want to
yeah,
go up.
yeah, yeah. It's different derechim.
Yeah.
There used to be even in between the Chabad Rebbes, there was differences.
That
Even
Rebbe
by
is
the
that Rebbe is the one on the floor.
First of all, so he used to have to put cushions all around because he would bang all over. He was in a different world. He would bang and it would be. But then his son, Little Rebbe, didn't budge, but they were able to the top of his wool. They used to have like a shtrama
Sweat.
was soaked. The flesh was going down from sweat. It was like it was flowing from. Each Rebbe was different. The Rebbe didn't didn't show any. It was very.
It says the Hasidim Rishonim before the daven for 2-3 hours used to make kavana.
Yeah,
Kavana for the tefillah
Yeah.
before the daven.
yeah.
And then they come to daven 2-3 hours. So the daven like shachit for 5 hours, Mincha for 3 hours, Arvis for 3 hours, the whole day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Even someone is not meirig in the dollar of echad. Oh, yeah, I'm back. And it came back.
It's all sick.
We got you back. We got you back.
Was eating dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says you still should make a little hefsek after you finish the word echad until you start the word baruch. Iker kibo macho shemayim pasuk rishon ishal hefsek v'nilu ben shaydan, because the main part of Shema is the first pasuk. That's where we're makabel il mach shemayim. So therefore, makabel mach shemayim. Therefore, that should stand out. We should make a break between that and baruch
So
Shem.
what more?
So even though anyhow, if you're thinking anyhow, you have a break. But he's saying if those who say those who are not making a break, you still say make a break before Baruch Shema.
What more important, Kriyat Shema or Shmona Esrei?
What's more important? Shemona Esrei.
Shmona Esrei is more.
Well, it's a good question. I want to tell you something. I tell you something. Krias Shema is a deraisa, and Shemona Esrei is the chura only anshe knesset gedela, is only midrabanan, right?
So
on the one hand, Krias Shema is greater, but actually in Chassidus, there's actually explains that there's a mila in also Shemona Esrei over Api Kabbalah. No, in the Svidus, so there's also differences. There's a difference. Because Kriya Shema, let's say that Kriya Shema is officially in Api Kabbalah. Kriya Shema is basically the tefillah divided into the four general olamas, four general worlds. There's Atzilus, Bria, Yitzir, Asiya. Asiya is our world, and then moving up. So the world Kriya Shema, we sit because it's still the world of Bria. Bria is the world. That's where the Olam Hakisei, where Hashem, when the person sits, they lower themselves down from standing, right? So they say Kriya Shema is the time of the world of Bria. When you come to Atzilus, then it's the time of Atzilus. So we stand. That's what brought in Kabbalah.
Oh, so Shmona Esrei is Atzilus.
Yeah. On the other hand, but it still says that Kriya Shema is from Chachma Bina, and which is higher than Shemona Esrei. So there's so there's different levels. But in Apinigla, Kriya Shema is something it says in the Torah Kriya Shema. Also the machlekes about Shemona Esrei also might be a machlekes if it's the machlekes with the Raisa Midrabanan after Tefillah, right? But that's why also in Kriya Shema we're also like batal. Totally, we stand like Evid. Because when you're in Atzilus over there's no Metzias. You have no Metzias. Only about the Eivishter. So we stand like a servant in front of our master.
Right.
In Shemona Esrei. Right? Ches. Eimer, Shema, Shafke Meisei. Someone says Shema twice. The Mishnah says we quiet him. Nation Nidik in Makabal of Shtei Shuyas. As if it looks like he's accepting two shuyas. It means, So this is your question. You're asking how in the song, right? So what does he say over here? He says it means you're saying the whole pasuk and you're saying it again. That's the problem because you're saying Hashem Echad. There's this Hashem Echad. There's that Hashem Echad.
Look, you didn't have kavanah. You realize when you finish, you might start over again. You should be not too loud. People shouldn't. We shouldn't be marasai.
So you're saying the kavanah to what? To be hateful?
Then you didn't have kavanah the first time you said it. And you finished and you realize, you know what? I didn't have proper kavanah. Perishable is at minimum. You have to say it over again.
So last week you learned about the kavanah, right? The kavanah which you need to have on the first, right?
I wasn't here, but go ahead.
Right? Yeah. Last week we learned about this about the kavanah you have to have during Krias Shema.
Yes, yes.
So what do we say? We said over there that in pasuk Rishon,
The Hashem is one, you
saying if you didn't have kavanah,
have to return. Say again.
So we said that you have to have in mind.
What's the question of massive kavanah?
So it's minatayra. It's a mitzvah minatayra, right? He says that so he says you're not yetzer. It's something which is minatayra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Krias Shema is minatayra. So you need kavanah divrei hakel. That's for pasuk Rishon. Chazal pasuk Rishon Krias Shema. Shema Yisrael.
So now what we're talking
Or you're
about
saying
Hilchos.
There's different types of kavanah, we said, right?
Shem Echad.
We're down in Hamilton.
So
Whatever type of kavanah is, if you didn't have the right, whatever the proper kavanah, whatever the minimum is, you have to start again. So
what do we say? What does he say over there about if you have saying if you're reading Shema, you're reading it from the Siddur, so you're obviously having kavanah, no? Saying
no,
it's not obvious.
You're saying it like to him.
Right, but you're opening it up, you're saying davening, so why are you saying it? You're not saying it to Nagia to edit something. You're not saying it to Stam say the 12 psukim.
Okay, you're Muhammad to you could theoretically be Muhammad, you're davening to the Eivishter, but maybe you didn't have much. So let's backtrack to last week. Is the minimum kavanah just the Parish Hamilis of the first two psukim that are needed?
So I think the minimum, I think
The first person.
First person, right?
I think the minimum is that you have to do it for the mitzvah. Not so much the Pirish Hamilah, so
Really? Oh,
you have to know you're doing a mitzvah right now.
and you guys remember?
I think the minimum,
We go to Muftan, told the person to say Shema. Just say the word.
they don't know what they're saying.
They have no kavanah there.
But again, over there, it's not, there's no chiyuv to say Shema over there. But
Right.
over there, there's for just film. You don't really have to say, it's just a minute that we say Shema over there.
In the Torah, who says the Shema? Moshe Rabbeinu to Am Yisrael. He's saying Shema Yisrael. Listen, Israel. Hashem Elokeinu, our God, is one. Somebody's saying to someone.
Say that. Yaakov, say,
Yaakov is children.
yeah.
It's Yaakov?
Yaakov,
He said Shema first
No,
time.
I'm saying it doesn't say it over there, but the story the Medrash says that when it came to when he was passing away, Yaakov was passing away, he said to his children, he wanted to know if they're all shalom, they're all complete. So he said, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and they answered Baruch Shem.
It's not when Yaakov met.
Kabbalah b'yadeinu, well, yeah.
When Yaakov met Yosef,
He was saying Shema himself.
Shema, yeah.
It says we're also saying Shema. That's right. That's right. Very good. Very good.
If you have in mind, before davening, you're davening for the Eivishter, Kabbalah, so whatever, and during Shema, you didn't have any, you forgot to be Muhammad, anything, you're good. You don't have to start over.
Saying if you're saying l'chora, you're saying a part of this. It's probably you have a mind to be Yitzah. Saying even if you didn't have kavanah of meaning.
You have to have in mind, right,
That is
beginning of
Katuv
Shema or
Torah.
beginning of
Shema
davening is good
Shema.
enough.
שיהיה
I think it's obviously better to have conscious kavana, but the question is b'diavad.
שהוא בא לייסד.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. I believe so. I think so. But again, you're asking a good question. You're saying,
listen, Shem is one. Somebody has to say it.
So when it was October 7, the terrorists took a teenager, a boy, and told him to scream outside the house in Hebrew. אנחנו חיילי צה"ל, שחוט את הדלת.
Well, yeah, Israeli soldier.
So then we opened the door and they were shooting. So the boy screamed, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. אל תשתיקו את הדלת. And then you hear a shot. You kill him. If you imagine just before he died, he was screaming, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. He understood what they want to do.
Right.
He told him in Hebrew, אל תשתיקו את הדלת. And he screamed, Shema Yisrael.
Why not open the door?
when they were saved, those people?
No, yeah, he saved the people.
But they killed him.
They
The
killed
terrorists
him,
killed
and
him.
then they heard the shot.
Wow.
They're going to kill many here.
But the point is that he was kibbutznik just before he died,
Wow.
screaming Shema Yisrael.
It's Kiddush.
And
Wow.
this is a kid, like a teenager.
Wow. Okay.
It was Machaver, the Daled over there, Shavuot. No, it was just Shomeh, you know.
This is Kiddush
Yeah.
Hashem.
It's a very smart wife.
Yeah, so you shouldn't say Shema twice. Okay, I hear it. A good question.
Continue about that.
Okay, so he says, if someone repeats Shema, Shema, it's not,
Don't quiet him.
you don't quiet him, but it's not proper. It's not Maguna, it's not good, but you don't have to quiet him.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't look, it's not as bad. It doesn't seem like you're Makabal of both the Shuyas. Only like you're laughing, like he's like making fun a little bit. Some people are opposite. Some people say, okay, when you do say the word twice, Shema, Shema, then we do make him quiet. If you say the whole pasuk again, so then,
What was said.
well, then, yeah, yeah. But it's not proper. So there's machlekes, which way is mashtikim meisei? When do we make him quiet? Well, David Hacker, according to everyone, aim mashtikim meisei alak shemer b'tzibur b'kodam. When you have to make it quiet? When they say it loud and in front of other people. Alachatchila aser b'chalinin. Alachatchila it's aser anyway, even quietly. B'chil likas kol ha'parsha v'lachzir l'shanesim miyad, even to read the whole parsha and to repeat it right away. Unless you're reading Krias Shalamita, Shemotalik is Krias Shema Kama Pamim, keep saying Shema over, the whole parsha over again. Whether you want to fall asleep with Shema. See, you fall asleep with Shema.
It's not a problem that you might fall asleep in the middle of.
Middle of a pasuk. You go to sleep with Shema. Right, it's like a Chassidus Shemais over here. Some people say some people say even this you shouldn't say the pasuk twice. So for you should be facious to their words, and you should not do this. Those who have the minute to say Shema every time that they say Vayav, when they slichus, they say Vayav Hashem upon a Vikra, they say Shema, it's not our minig, maybe, and it's right than it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no problem since you're being mafsik a lot between each time. It doesn't look like you're being makabel shnei reshus.
That makes sense why you do by end of the Shema only once.
Sing it.
Well, the other things we say more.
Oh, yeah.
You say 3 times Hashem Elokim, 7
Yeah,
times.
like you're going to say right now over here at Tess. So even if
So this is very
Even Ashmudas Slichas, the Yim Kapurim, Tfilis Neila, based upon Paz Shema Yisrael, those who say twice Shema Yisrael, Yishalamda by Neila, to teach them Shalayimdu, so they do Hakab, Kapanim Maguna, who everyone at least says it's not proper. Shem Gamkin, Hashem Shtikin, and we said earlier that some people seem to be quiet. Yud. Hashem Holakim Shem Tfilis Neila Zayin Panim in the Kasharu. We say Hashem Holakim 7 times, that's a good minig. Shem Shabchem, they say that we're Meshabech, the Ebeshter, Shadar, Lamaylam Zayin Akim. He lives higher than the 7 Akim. In Lachash b'keif loise l'beis Rishuyah and Mitzvah Shukol Mikra Gabriel Yol v'Yimur Kolam Shem Lakim, because we find Taka that in the pasuk it says Shem Lakim twice. B'negei Abiyahu Navi. If you shouldn't say Amen twice because the two Rishuyas the Shem Ein L'Chashash no problem. Shari David Amen Amen like in the Chalak b'Neimer b'Vav l'Eimer b'Leivav. If you nick doesn't make it eye over there, it says with a Vav, it doesn't make a difference. The base Masha Negel Leimer Gimel Pamim Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav B'Siyan Tfilas Nilay and Lachash Shabei Rishuyas. Say Baruch Shem 3 times, not a problem. Maybe it looks like you're accepting 2 different authorities. Shalei Chashash Ol L'Shema Yisrael Sheikar Kabbalas Machshemayim. Kabbalas Machshemayim is mainly by Shema Yisrael, and that's the main thing that we don't want to repeat. Shema Yisrael Pamachs Shema Yisrael once, and Lachash Kuv Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav. The base of Shuyah, the Ein Meisal Hashem Echad Shema Yisrael. Since you're saying it after you've already said Shema Yisrael, there's one. I'm sorry, the Gimel. Achar Pasuk Rishon said Chayim Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav. He talks about the Yaakov, there. He says after you say Shema, you say Baruch Shem, you say Bachashai. Why do you say quietly? If you should Shol Shabik Yaakov V'Galus Hakitz Levanov. And Yaakov wanted to reveal the time of Mashiach and Stakum and Shechina to his kids, and the Shechina suddenly departed from him. Maybe one of you are not proper, and that's why I forgot a possible kulam, but everyone said together. Shema Yisrael Shalom Ekeinu Shalom Echad. Claim Shema Mimenu Ati Yisrael. Listen to us, you Yisrael Avinu, our father Yisrael. Kshem Shein B'Libcha Le'Echad. Just like in your heart you only have one God. Kachim Levinu Le'Echad also in our hearts also. Yeah, Pasach Hazakin right away. The Zakin Yaakov said, "Amar Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav, blessed be Hashem." And Amar Chachamim Heich Nasa Neimer Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav Lekas L'Meisher B'Teira. Amru Yaakov Iskini Neimer Chashay. Say like this. Chacham say Heich Nasa Neimer Baruch Shem Kaveh Mechus L'Ein Vav Meisher Rabbeinu. Right? Lay Neimer. If not to say it, Yaakov Iskini. Yaakov said it. Yaakov said it. Iskini Leimer Chashay. So Masakin to say it quietly. And the Amr Kol Ikar Machzirim didn't say it. So you have to repeat it. Yeah. Chacham said to say it. We can't say it because it's not in the pasuk. Not to say it. Yaakov said it. So therefore they said to say it quietly.
It's all Midrash with Yaakov. The Torah doesn't say it there. He wants to give them what's going to happen in Achrit HaYamim, and then he thought somebody's not Kavanah or something. It's all Midrash.
Yeah.
It
doesn't say in the Torah.
Right.
So because of that, we don't say Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto loud.
Yeah.
Why all this?
Why what? Why we should what are you suggesting about?
No, why we don't say Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto only in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur loud? And now, because Jacob Avinu said Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto loud, we say not it.
This is what he says over here. He said doesn't say that.
What I'm saying is the opposite.
About
Jacob Avinu, when he said Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, he said loud.
Yeah.
We don't say loud.
Right.
Why?
Because right now we're saying psukim from the Torah, so it's not a pasuk from the Torah, so we don't want to. So therefore we didn't want to say it loud. We didn't want to. So on the other hand, not to say it. We also didn't want to not say it because that's the way Yaakov said it. Yaakov did say it. So therefore we did it quietly. So we see this difference. It's not the same.
Right. We see
that it's not the pasuk. We're showing that it's different.
When Yaakov was thinking about the Shvatim, all the Shvatim, what they said together, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. He just said it, right?
Yeah.
And what Yaakov answered?
Yeah.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Yeah.
But he answered loud. But we're saying quiet.
Right.
Even though Shema, the Shvatim said loud.
You're asking that if he said it loud, how come we don't say it loud? Right. Okay. So, because then it wasn't said in the whole Shema, the half of the whole thing. It wasn't said in the part of the
Shema.
Yeah. There's all other reasons also, right? You're looking at the reason about the Malachim, about the
ויקרא יעקב על בניו ויאמר עשו אגידו לכם עץ אשר יקרא אתכם באחרית הימים.
Why?
No, you said it doesn't say it's a medrash. Yeah, it's right here.
No, but he's saying the Baruch Shem. He's saying the
Right, before I'm saying. But also we learned. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand. Okay, also we heard that because Moshe, whatever Baruch Shem was taken from the Malachim, and we're not Malachim. That's why
Yom
we
Kippur,
don't
we
pay
do
that
say a
longer
lot.
than Yom Kippur. Now, why Yaakov got away with it? Okay, maybe Yaakov was on the level of a Malach. You know,
That maybe he was.
right. I'm saying, but that's why we. That's another
I
reason
think
why we
there's
say quietly.
I think there's something from the Rebbe about this discussion. I heard from Rabbi Merazel something about this question. There's something, if you ask Rabbi Merazel something about Baruch Shem, that the Rebbe has something about it. There was a kid who asked a question, something, and I have to ask him. I remember a few years ago, I remember him saying something.
Already that we know it by now.
There's some interesting question the kid asked the Rebbe and about this, about the Malach, and there's something over there. I don't remember right now. A few years ago, I remember him saying over a story. Vidal, Tzarech asking Matt, we have a minyan in the Peretz?
2 more pairs.
Actually, one.
And one? Okay, so we'll continue until we have a minyan, right?
Russell will come.
Go ahead.
One other thing.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Sounds good.
Tzarech lahafsik Matt bein Baruch Shem kvei mechutz hilul vod lahafsik bein Kabbalas mach shemayim Mashayim mitzvahs. We need to make a hefsik between Baruch Shem to Vahafta in order to make a hefsik between Kabbalas and Shemayim. And then you start the mitzvahs. Bishmai Yisrael Baruch Shem kvei mechutz hilul vod shu Kabbalah. Lashon Kabbalah shach mekamal mekusim mechusi Vahafta Lashon Salva. If we make a hefsik between Baruch Shem and Vahafta, because no, not long. It's very short.
Like half a second, 2 seconds.
No, it's a pause. Whatever a pause means, each person depends on the speed rate that you're going. You know, everything's relative. Everything's relative. Yeah. It's noticeable that it's not. You're not just reading via after thing. So, because that's Kabbalah that you're accepting upon yourself. Shema Baruch Shem is accepting the Eibishter and the Malchus, the Eibishter, and the Hafta it starts a mitzvah. If you have to pasuk Rishon in Yisrael Hashem, Ravin Yolikeinu Hashem, Abeit Yishnishma Shema Yisrael, Ki Hashem Shulikeinu Hu Hashem Echad. But the way you should say it, you say Shema Yisrael. Listen, you didn't Ki Hashem Shulikeinu, which is our God, is Hashem Echad. So the hefsek between Shema Yisrael, Hashem Lekeinu, Hashem Echad. We had this to hear about Yaakov and his sons over here. We said in Gimel. With Gimel, we had the whole discussion over here. Why we say quiet and why we Tes Vav. Tzarech hasik ben hayim la'al levavecha, ben hayim la'ava, v'yanir hayim al levavecha v'lei l'macher. Right? It shouldn't be, since you say the hefsek between hayim al levavecha, hayim ava. Shouldn't be the dafke. Today it's al levavecha, but not l'macher. Okay, these are so when we're in a daik about, and when we say the word Krias Shema, certain things, I think Krias HaTorah and Krias Shema are the things which from a daik and diktuk. At least, so tzarech lahasik ben nishba lahashem kedei lahatim yafa ha'ayin shalei tehinida kahashem kilo imer nishba Hashem chas v'shalom. So you have to make it separate. Nishba Hashem. It shouldn't sound like Nishba Hashem, that he was captured. Tzarech lahatiz zayin shal tizgeru. Yeah, not the whole show doesn't have to hear about it, but yeah, you can say some shows you hear that people are.
But what would be Lahatim Yofa sign?
Make sure. How would you make a difference between the hey and nine? Saying it's really an aleph. We say it like an aleph. Really, Amal, they knew how to say a difference between the ayin and the aleph. But at least that, right, not nishbah. That should be nishbah. Yeah. Yeah. You know the difference between ayin and let me hear.
Ayin, Aleph.
How do you say?
Ayin.
More from the throat, you think?
Het. It's a het.
Say Ma'ariv.
You say het. It's het.
Say Ma'ariv. Okay.
Ma'ariv.
No, so how do you say Nishba?
Nishba. Ah. You say Nishba.
So that's official? That's this guy didn't know how to say this? Wow.
Otiyot Gorniyot, so Adim knows very well.
Aleph Ches Hey Ayin.
This has
Accent.
changed the whole meaning of the word.
100%, yeah.
100%.
That's it. Have to learn the.
For example, in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, you say, היום הרת עולם, היום יעמיד במשפט כל יצרי העולם, הם כבנים מכאן. You say היום הרת עולם, it means he create, the הריון. Ashkenazim say היום הרס עולם, he destroyed the world. That's very, very bad. Sorry.
Go on.
I'm right?
Okay, we have and Ushazchaitem, Shalitit Makrias L'Samach, Ki Kol Zayin Asmuch L'Chaf, Shalachra Dema Krias L'Samach, and Lay Matizim Meisar. Basically, if you have a Chaf after Zayin, you have to be careful, it shouldn't sound like a Samach. Zayin, Tzarech L'Hadgish, Yud Shema Yisrael, Shalay Tivlo B'Letir Aleph, V'Kilo Eimer Israel. V'chein Yud Shal V'Hayu, right, so you say it should be Yisrael, not Israel. V'chein Yud Shal V'Hayu, Shalai, Yeh Nishma Kilo Eimer, V'Ha'u. So you say V'Hayu, it should be make sure Hayu, not Hayu. Ha'u. V'chasar Chlitin Erech V'Chara La'ap, Shalai Yeh Nira Kilo Eimer V'Chara. Say it, V'Chara. It has Sarachlit and Nevach in Tevash Eshet Klasak Eshet B'Seif Tevash and Fanel Shalitivla Is Achtelhem. Basically, you have to have the same letter, the end of the last word, and the first letter of the. It's like Al Livavecha. You need to hear both lamets. Al Livavecha. Al Livavchem. Havatem Meheda. Kanuf Sil. Eschem Meyeretz. And also every Bechol Levavcha. Chol Levavchem. Aber Shalhem Tzarech Shalei Lahafsik Harbe Shariyish Makibin Tzayim, but really B'chol Avchem really are supposed to two words together. It's supposed to be connected. So just make enough that it should stand Alam Latino Tzarech Lasmicham. They need to be next to each other. After beginning to have a Kabel Balam and Sheinish Vashakeda Bays two laments. Another thing is he says, "Call Tavish with Klasa Aleph, save Tavish with Mem. Mem so have some mouth name shall Tivla Aleph. If you have Aleph in the beginning of the word, the last word finishes with a Mem. You also have to be careful. Madatem Oisam, not to lose that Aleph. Ukshartem Oisam, Urisam Oisay, Samtam as S, or Skartam S, Vasisam S. It shouldn't seem like you're saying Moisam, Moisay, Mace." Levi Krias Shema Bovad, he says not only in Krias Shema, El Apel Sukkot Zimra B'Tfila and B'Chlal and Sukkot Zimra and Shmanasi Tzarech L'Dakta B'Chol Zeit Medai. So I think the minhag is too much more to be Medayik in Krias Shema mainly, but he says B'Chlal. That's the halacha. And who I did Akeda B'Teira even Nevi'im Eksuvim. Sometimes someone just reads Teira Nevi'im Eksuvim. He says Zar B'Chol Zeh. Blaming for the tzibur for sure, right? Why did the Chachamim specifically mention Krias Shema? Because everyone is reading Krias Shema twice a day. Chachamim, Amei Aretz, Lefichach, both Chachamim, Amei Aretz, Lefichach, Chutzifol HaHazir, Mipnei Amei Aretz, Shein Mekiyah Mekriya. So people are not used to reading, so everyone has to read it. Even people are not Chachamim, so therefore they have to make sure that they read it properly. Right, Yadgish Harafa is with a Nakuda, without a Nakuda, something we're supposed to have, not right. Right? And in the Shva, if you know in the Sidurim, right, if you pronounce the Shva, or just let it, right, in these Sidurim they have a star, right. Let's say Mechalkel. Let's open to rounding. Mechalkel, the first one, the Shva, you're pronouncing the Me. Chal, the Lamed has a Shva also, but you're not saying Mechalekel. You're saying
Put it together.
You're not really.
Yeah.
And No means it's moving. And Nod is right. So it's sorry, it's Shva No and Nach. Nach is resting. You're not really mentioning it. You're not pronouncing it. Just letting it bounce off the word before. Chal, the letter before. Machal.
It's like a connecting.
Yeah. So the Eza Shvanah, the Eza Shvanach, Yidu ala Medaktikim. Which one's the Shvanach is known to those Medaik. Holding Tukim Elim, Machatchilak, which is person from base. Again, these are not Ma'akiv, all these things. It's only Chatchilak. And you should know that it's a difference in the Siddurim. This Siddur followed one way of Shvanah and Shvanach, and the Lavav Siddur. And this one has a different one. They went according to different Medaktikim. And the Zalman Henna, the later one, they changed.
אלו ואלו דברי אלוקים.
Yeah. יש מי שאומר, יש מי שאומר שצריך לקרוא קרישמה בטיימים כמי שהם בתורה. Some people, they say, they read it in some Siddurim, they have the kriyashma, they put a trap in it. The timing, trap. Yeah, maybe other Siddurim also, no? What? Yeah. I'm saying the Torah al Rebbe is what I'm saying. It's interesting that he puts it in. No. Yeah. So he says, "V'roi lachash l'dvarav." So really to be to listen to the words. Although Nago came in a selo. The minig of Payal is not like that. It's fitting to do that, but the minig of Payal is that people don't do that. Kashal shanas the minig b'zeh. It's hard to change the people's minig about this. Ki akriya b'taimim mafsedes hakavana. Basically, it's hard if you're not used to doing the nagunim. You're going to be busy thinking about how to do the nagunim. You're not going to be you're not going to be mechav properly piddush hamilas. Someone's able to do both, able to read the trap and also have kavana. He should be machir to tavla brach. It's a nice minig, beautiful minig, to touch the tefillin and the tzitzis when you mention their mitzvah in the Kriya Shema. The hainu, she mashes the tefillin shayad, ksheim kshai from lace, and you say kshai from lace, you touch it. With tefillin shareish, you touch ksheim v'haylu teitafet.
We take the tzitzit, and we said chotem utak.
Different minhagim. Yeah. I think that Abba just touches with his hands.
Oh, his hand without the tzitzit?
Yeah, different minhagim, it's all beautiful. Yeah. It's minig yafa. Okay, shu'eimer isa meisei yamashmish v'beis tzitzit shulfana. When you say isa meisei, when you're supposed to say, you're saying you're seeing it, so you should touch the base, the two tzitzis in front of him. You stack up him, you should look at them. Right? We kiss the tzitzis, right? We mentioned it, right? We have a minhagim, right? Well, each time we say tzitzis, we in Vayema we kiss it, and then by Emes, and then by Kayemes and La'ad.
La'ad, yeah.
Then he said, Yishnegim Nikris Kriya Shema B'Karom. When people say Kriya Shema, they read Kriya Shema in a loud voice. The whole Kriya Shema, not just the first pasuk. Mavad Baruch Shem, before sides for Baruch Shem, famous in Avad. Yishnegim in the case of Lachash, some people, they read the whole thing quietly. Mavad pasuk Rishon. Aside for the first pasuk, as you worry that maybe somebody is going to listen to him and think that he yitza by listening to you. And that person is really not yitza by listening to you. Unless you probably learned this, right? That unless you have 9 people, pay this Shema, you have 9 people which are trying to be yitza. One person, then it works, but from one person, you're not going to be yetzer. It's not so common anyhow today, but that's why some people do it quietly. We have the parrots. We're still waiting for someone.
Only 2.
So should we go outside or?
Am I also coming?
What?
Should be 10 again.
What about Nachman Dov? That's Nachman Dov and his son if it's come. Your papa is not home.
No, I only went to PTA. Spoke to him.
So this is you were out for you then listening to Gimel says that Yaakov Avinu wrote through Megal the Kates and Staka. So he thought maybe they're not Hagum, and they say Shema Yisrael, our Father Yisrael, Hashem Lekin, Hashem Echad. So Hashem was really is Hashem Echad, and he heard that. He said Baruch Shem, and he said,
"Oh, you know the 10."
Mazel tov.
He says he's
So-
not. Even you must
He's just answering on me.
We are nine.
Take some of Zionist.
Oh, somebody else is
Keep them
coming.
there.
Yeah? We're looking for Santa.
You want to take a stick of Zionist, a
Oh
drink?
my God, Sam Wasserman.
Am I in the right place?
Yeah. How did you
We're gonna start
know?
right now. We're gonna start
How'd you
right
know
now.
to come? You're 10.
Yeah. Very nice. Nice to
Good
meet you.
night,
Thank you very much.
Rabbi Sabgir,
Yeah.
I was looking on they have on the gem. You know, the gem is they have over there pictures. They have some pictures.